Hey, welcome back to Cheating Wife, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to the channel for cheating stories like this.
Me, 25 male/female, found out 5 nights ago that my girlfriend, 25 female of 6 years, cheated on me with a mutual friend, 25 male, am now waiting for my taxi to take me to the airport for my new life. How do I deal with the closure? Please accept my apologies for the length of this one. I work in politics on the dark smoky room side, and my GF and I haven't seen much of each other in the last 6 months due of a recent promotion that's been a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Let's refer to her as HH, and I had been dating since university, and she was, to put it bluntly, the love of my life. My best buddy is kind, devoted, and passionately loyal. We've done some pretty fantastic things together, and when I look back on my life highlights, our trips and years together will undoubtedly be among them. H and I have been finding it difficult to spend time apart from one another. I work from about 6:30 a.m., 11 p.m., tend to be on the phone at weekends. However, she has been very supportive and has continued to advise me to concentrate on the work for the time being. We both intended to relocate to NYC together after I finished this job. I realize now that it's been a lot tougher for H than she let on, and I've simply missed my companion terribly. I walked down into the bathroom to say good morning to H, and found a large love bite on her neck, which she'd been covering behind thick jumpers. I challenged her about it, since I hadn't been allowed to touch her in weeks after catching scabies in Africa, and I knew it wasn't my fault. This all occurred so rapidly that I scarcely recall what was said. All I remember is the sensation that my gut was suddenly coated with lead. She claimed it was an allergic response, but as I pressed her, it became evident she was concealing something, and it became clear that we both understood what had occurred. She strayed with a common acquaintance she discreetly up with, claimed she went to him for relationship guidance, and ended up wanting love from him. She told me, clearly pleaded for another chance, asked me to marry her, and then went in a cab to her friend's home with her belongings that I had prepared for her. The home is all mine. We are not married. There's nothing to worry about legally here. After she went, I carefully got ready for work, packed my lunch, straightened my shirt, and then just lost it and sat down with some scotch and some cigarettes and wallowed in self-pity for the night. For the last week, this has been my evening ritual. I've had a history of depression, so although this has been really difficult, the numbness and feelings of emptiness make it easier to get things done. I'm not a sobbing mess. I'm just done. Over the following 3 days, I remained quiet and did not return any of the 90 missed calls. I eventually called her and told her we were done, I'd forgiven her, and I dropped all of her belongings off at a friend's home while H was at work. The thing is, I don't resent her for it. I understand how she felt, and I know my work interfered with what had been a really tight and spontaneous connection. We evolved into distinct persons. I can forgive her, but we must part ways. I will never trust her again, and I cannot have her in my life. Not when it's not even a good idea for me to have a relationship when my life is this bad. While I forgive her, it doesn't mean I'll ever be able to love her again. The following several days resulted in a few rash choices. I went immediately to my boss, who also happens to be one of my closest friends, and he graciously volunteered to give up all of his yearly leave so I could fix myself out. When I informed him that going in that mansion would just bring back negative memories, he made me an offer, a year-long employment working on a massive project for an international government, which I accepted. This entails a whole new career, a new life in a new nation, and an entirely new kind of workplace and project. So I rented out my property, which my brother would care after, and decided to merely purchase a ticket and go to my new home before the job started. It also makes visa stuff easier. I haven't informed H since I've been trying to keep NC happy, and she has all of her belongings. The cab will arrive in around 2 hours. Here are my inquiries. Should I inform H? Isn't it impolite to let her find out through a friend? When I'm so far away from everything, how can I get closure, and what procedure can I use? How can I prevent this from becoming a fast fix? Is there a chance that when I return home after a year, it will all come flooding back? I'm scared that all I'm doing is running away from my issue, and that by doing so, I'll never confront the basic betrayal. Do any Redditors have any advice on relocating to a foreign country? How do you make new friends? Have I been too hasty? Importantly, does anybody have any advice for getting over cheating? This is the second time I've been cheated on, and although I'm okay with a year of being alone, I'm concerned about what comes next. Is it really worthwhile to strive to be true to anyone? Thank you in advance, and thank you for all of your aid over the years in helping me get through the final week of my life. Update 1. Some of you may recall that I had some questions and that I was on my way to start a new life, which I never mentioned is in Africa. Things have taken some strange twists since then, so I thought I'd keep you updated. So I'm still not in Africa since my taxi got involved in a small mishap and I missed my flight. No one was wounded, but you can't get another taxi on the highway fast. Fortunately, I have full coverage up to my eyes. I called my employer to notify him and was preparing to book flights for the weekend when he requested me to remain a few more days since his desk had been struck by a tidal wave. I'd do anything for this man, so I course agreed, and I ended up staying for Christmas to say goodbye to my family and give them some time before I departed for a year. To say thank you, my boss's secretary spent the most of the week locating me a new apartment, scheduling vaccines, and basically organizing my life. So I haven't informed her I'm going, and we haven't kept in touch. A close friend said that she had a talk with H and made it plain that I'm serious about wanting a long stretch of quiet between us. H seems to be dealing with it poorly, as seen by her tears and the need for her friends to care after her phone, which I expected to make me joyful, but it doesn't. I only told one person, her father. I would highly encourage anybody else on here not to break NC for X's family members, but you must realize that I cannot answer the phone to this guy. I have a lot of respect for him, and we've spent a lot of time alone sipping from his incredible whiskey collection and chatting about things. He's provided me with invaluable support and advice throughout my life, and I'd be much worse off without him. He asked whether I could ever forgive his daughter, and I told him that there was no sense in continuing since trust had been fundamentally damaged, and he apologized and accepted it. He honestly told me that I should consider going away for some alone time and asked me to meet him in the city where I work. I informed him where I was going and begged him not to notify H until I was gone. He pledged to honor my requests, and that was enough for me. This guy is old school, and I know his word is important to him. I also left some words for family members to pass on clandestinely after I'm gone since the whole family has been fantastic to me. My time since has gone much more smoothly than it might have. I've gone to the gym often, Rule 1, and spent at least 2 hours every night, excluding Christmas, sparring with my brother. I've seen old friends and spent a lot of time with my family before I depart. We finished the business that had fallen on my boss's desk, and he took me out for an unbelievable farewell supper with himself and his wife, which was lovely. It was some unlimited meat establishment, which makes me question why everything isn't unlimited meat. My personal disposition has been promising. There was a frightening level of numbness for a few days, but keeping myself occupied really helped me feel normal again. I can't emphasize enough to everyone how vital it is to get up and do something rather than languishing. It alters your whole mentality and makes everything so much simpler. In terms of other plans, I've already signed up for a Muay Thai gym out there and found an old training partner who works in the same city, so we'll meet up. My objective is to approach this like a year in university, working hard but trying to get as much out of the experience as possible. I intend to spend all of the money I had set up for H's birthday celebrations. Thank you to everyone who informed me that there are some individuals you can trust out there, but I suppose I'll have to be single for the time being. I'm thinking about getting some therapy since I know I'll be alone for at least another year and I don't want mistrust to become my default setting. I went to visit my old psych about my depressive flare-up, and he said I was doing extremely well given the circumstances, so yay! I'm really looking forward to my new life, and I'm feeling a lot better about my ability to utilize it as a fresh start rather than simply running away and suppressing my thoughts. I may send H a letter one day to seek some answers to certain questions, but I'm still hesitant and probably won't do so until I'm certain I'm on the mend. Follow the advice given here, keep yourself active and continue with NC. The next year is all about me, and I'm enthusiastic about what I can create. Thank you everybody and best of luck. Update 2. I'm back in the UK for a few weeks, visiting old friends and family, as well as my former employer, and thought I'd provide an update. As some of you may recall, I ended my relationship with my ex 4 months ago after she cheated on me. This prompted me to take a job offer in Africa, and the rest, as they say, is history. To begin with, Africa is the most magnificent continent on the planet. I'm based in Tanzania, although I've had the good fortune to travel extensively. The new work is fantastic. I'm gaining some insane experience. I got my own driver and secretary. I'm making some very major impacts here, and I believe choosing this position was the finest choice of my life. It will be difficult for me to go at the end of the year. In terms of how I'm coping with the breakup, this has been the right solution. It's difficult to languish for long when you're riding around dirt roads with new pals, drinking beer, and seeing the most breathtaking natural beauty you'll ever see. One of the pleasures of the job is that we collaborate closely with NGOs, who send out a large number of aid workers / volunteers my age who are all wanting to have a good time. I'm still single, and it's been wonderful to relive my youth by going out and being free, as well as having new life experiences. Someone mentioned on another thread that the beginning of any excellent story / adventure needed something like what happened to me to happen, to expose myself and make myself a little bolder than I would have been. H has actually just been the first half of a paragraph of a narrative that has been so pleasant and exhilarating. Here's the breakup porn that I had to keep you all updated on. This demonstrates that no matter how awful things are right now, things can change, and that once you heal, the dynamics of power may fundamentally transform in an instant. With H, I kept NC. Some friends have informed me that once she found out I was leaving, she asked all of my friends if they had my African phone number. She's barred from all email / social media my phone, and has been living with her parents for months now, having opted to spend some time alone. Keep in mind that I haven't seen or talked to her since this all started. Guess who was waiting for me at arrivals when I arrived in London a few days ago? Apart from my mum, of course. HH appears out of nowhere, stares at me, and begins to weep. To be honest, I was dumbfounded. H had seen the flight information I placed on a common friend's wall and ridden a 4-hour train down to London to urge me to take her back. Remember, my mum was lurking in the background the whole time. I told H nothing had changed, thanked her for coming. I was truly moved by whatever this exhibition was, and gave her some money to catch a taxi home, partly because she was a wreck, partly to make myself feel superior. At this point, it hit me how much everything had changed. I still have sentiments for H, but they're couched much more reflectively. I felt immense sadness for her at the time, and I don't believe I've ever been more certain that being on my own is what's best for me. Thank you for all of your help r/relationships. Some of the advice I got on here has made a significant impact in how I spent the past 4 months. It gets better for those of you who are just starting out. Keep no contact, take care of yourself, go to the gym, and make time to meet new people. I encourage going out on your own because it helps you find out who you are and what you've lost.